In this video, we're going to allow BizTalk to basically capture and route failed messages so that you can handle them either via your own program logic or your own orchestrations, or write them to special directories on the disk and that sort of thing. So in the last video, we had shown two possible ways that you can get errors. And so we're going to go to the to receive port, or actually the receive port for, let's look at receive location first. So we have the XML in, and the option is not here, it's actually on the receive port. So if you go to the receive port called map demo in, you have a little box down here called enable routing for failed messages. And first thing you have to do is turn that on. And we have the concurrency violation again. So I have to come over here and refresh, and then come back to receive ports and turn that on. The second thing we need to do is create a special send port now to handle these bad messages, so to speak. So we're going to create let's call it PO error handling, and we're going to write to a flat file. And now we're going to need a new file on our disk. So we have map demo in, map demo out. We'll create map demo errors. How about incoming errors? And we'll copy that directory name right here, and we'll call it error PO underscore error underscore message ID. And this could be a pass-through. It could be XML, it could be a pass-through. We'll just leave it pass-through for now. And now the tricky part here is, what do you want to filter on? So if you go to the web and you search the Microsoft MSDN for used failed message routing, you'll see basically that there are different fields here called, for instance, failure code, failure category, description, and so on. So what you want is where the failure code is not blank or not null. So we're going to come over here and we're going to look at the various properties that are available. And actually here you would go down to the error report section, and let me confirm something. So what we're interested in is looking for the failure code here. So there's failure code. And instead of saying greater than blank, what you actually can say here is exist. And that means that if this element is actually there in the context of the message, then this is basically true. And you notice you cannot put a value here. So it basically says, this is like saying not null. If this element is even there, then I want to receive and filter, subscribe to this message, and then handle it. Okay, so that's pretty much all we need to do. Let's just recap that. We created PO error handling. We're going to write it to a file called purchase order map demo incoming errors, and that's going to be the name of the file. And then we went to filter and put error report failure code. Okay, and then we're going to say OK. Then we're going to start that, and let's give it a run. So we're going to go back over here to map demo in. We're going to take our not valid schema, copy it over here. The file has been accepted. We go to hat, and now notice what happened a little bit different. So right now it was 334, and we received a file and the file was transmitted. So where was the file transmitted to? If we go to message flow here, you do have the message that says the price was invalid. And if you scroll on down and go to the pass-through transmit, you can see it was written to BizTalk purchase order map demo incoming errors, and then this is the name of the file that it wrote it to. So if we now go over here and go to incoming errors, there's the file, and we can look at it, and basically it's the exact same copy of the file we started with. So we did capture the message, and now we put it in, we basically kept the message and we put it in a special directory. You realize before we did this, someone dropped the file. In a way, you could say the file was gone. So once you found out the price was bad, somebody, a human, probably has to come in here and fix this. And if they don't know what the price, they can either look up the price in your database, or they could call the customer and say, you know, we rejected your order. So actually what you could do here is actually have an error reject directory where you maybe send the order back to the guy who sent it to you, and you tell him that this order was not valid because the price was not valid. And in the next video we'll try to fancy that up and do a more real-world scenario with that. The other scenario we wanted to try was the case where we have non-well-formed XML. So this is our file called notgoodxml, and let's drop it in the same map-in directory, and again go to hat, and now we're at 336, and so again you can see we got a file and it passed through, and we go to our incoming error messages, and again the file would be there. So now what we might want to do is actually build a fancy message that would show, in this case, see, I can't even show the file because it's not well formed. But what we might want to do is show the data itself and then show the error messages to the user as well. And we'll try that in the next video.